6 to go.
Makes a mistake again. He missed a shift. He's going to spin to the inside turn. He's going to take the lead.
Eli Hinton just got used up there in the hairpin. He's going to pick up a win after a long winless streak and visit victory lane. And the whole field just needs to get himself slowed down hot in these curves. Up and over. There's Zach Buchanan running a tad wide. Great restart here for the 2 car, but also for the 48. He crosses him over. Down into turn 1. There goes the tail. Here comes the 20 alongside. The 13 car gets turned. He's going to spin in turn 2.
There's not a whole lot out in the Nevada desert. There's the metropolis of the city of Las Vegas. But there's also the metropolis of Las Vegas Motor Speedway, where the gambling on the racetrack is so much different than the gambling in the casinos, because here it can mean the difference between a small payout and a very, very large one in the sport of motor racing. Welcome to Las Vegas Motor Speedway. I'm Kyle Heyer here with SimTV alongside Finian DeCuna for race number 2 of the 2019 RaceKings Cup Series for the 3WideRacing League. And Finian, what better place to go to round number 2? I mean, the people up in the casino's got to be freaking out because they don't know who to bet on just yet. We're so early in the season, I'm not really sure if we can tell who's good yet and who's got to work on their car all season.
Yeah, I think it's going to take us quite a while for us to figure out who's got the best car again, especially with this new package that these guys haven't run together with. I'm sure these guys have definitely got some testing with it, but they haven't really tested it with each other. So that's going to be interesting to see how the lineup is going to stack up for this season.
Qualifying underway at the moment right now, but let's take a look at the speedway here, Finian. 1.5 miles, the first 1.5 mile racetrack of the season, but a relatively high grip racetrack with this new high downforce package. It means we're going to see really high corner speeds and also pretty high straightaway speeds as well with the tall banking we see here as well. So Vegas Motor Speedway, 1.5 mile racetrack, but not easy by any stretch of the imagination. And more money on the line tonight for 4 drivers, Finian. You see on the ticker there on the left-hand side of the screen, the 4 drivers that are lit up in red. They are going I have to double check the name of this because it's not Dash for Cash. It's let's see what it's called. It's called the No Bull 4, Finian, which I really enjoy that name. And considering the Bull Ring is right around the corner from here, the No Bull 4 are the top 4 finishing championship eligible what do they call them? Charter drivers from the previous race, but we're not doing it every race, only every couple. The next one will be May 20th at Bristol Motor Speedway, but the drivers tonight are the 11 of Wade Lear, the 18 of Paul Ross, the 5 of Sam Close, and the 39 of David Wilson. And right now, qualifying underway, almost complete. There's Kyle Hanshaw. He came on through for 7th place. Drivers out in course right now, though. Chad Frankenfield on number 15 here. We know he was going to be good this season. Where he's going to come across the line for his first qual lap. He's going to jump up high on the board, we expect. Only up to 18th. Maybe lap 2 is the way to go here in these qualifying laps at Vegas.
Yeah, it's kind of tough to tell with this the way the package works, but I think they're gonna want to put in that second lap once the car fully gets up to speed. So we'll keep an eye on Frankenfield, see that time climbs up.
Johnny Thomas at the top of the board right now in the 83, picking up where he left off in the Truck Series last year. So he is really looking forward to getting that 83 into victory lane in the Cup side of things for 2019. Frankenfield comes across the line for his second lap. Does he improve? Yes, he does, to P5 in the number 15 Wheelmaster car. How about Matt Gruenberg in the number 54, last night's Truck Series winner in Texas Motor Speedway. Flew out west a little bit more to get to Vegas tonight and jumps up to 4th on the board with 30 seconds remaining in qualifying. A pretty significant majority of the field here, Finian, from 23rd on or 24th on back, has not gone out to take a qualifying lap. So I think a lot of people sitting and waiting to see how things are going to pan out here. Look at Kevin Giatterstich jumping up to 2nd on the board. Levi Zielinski jumps up to 8th in the number 6 car.
Currently 23 people have put down the time so far, and as you said, a lot of people sitting out. I think those guys are kind of just want to just kind of see how this package plays out in the back, so they're going to be working up as qualifying is ending here.
Qualifying complete. Johnny Thomas on the pole for the second round of the 2019 3WideRacing League RaceKings Cup Series. Excuse me, I choked on myself there. 133 laps tonight, Finian. This package and this racetrack are one heck of a combination. And the last time we were at Las Vegas, I believe, was the Fuel Host Venom Cup Series.
Yeah, with the old pack. So we haven't been here with this newer package. And the racing in real life was kind of. See, yeah. It was alright. It wasn't the best.
The first half of the race was good. The second half was a lot, or wasn't as good.
Didn't set the world on fire.
No, but
interested in seeing how it's going to play out here in iRacing.
The package in iRacing seems to race a lot better than it does in the real world because we don't quite have all the factors that would contribute to the way it races in real life, notably also the difference between the race cars. So everyone on equal footing here tonight. You see the 83 and the 42. How about Kevin Jadrosic? Never really got the recognition he deserved in the driver development series. Ran so well there, but just couldn't quite keep up with the 15 of Frankenfield, who's starting, looks like in 7th place, number 15. So maybe the 42 can take it to him tonight, but also Kloosterhuis, a great qualifying effort up into P3, and Carlos Acosta in the number 24, returning to the series for 2019. He's qualified in position number 4. We wait for the field to grid. Liam Sheen in the number 51. He is back here as well this week after making it through after just barely qualifying into the race last week at Daytona. So a new week, a different kind of racetrack, but I expect to see plenty of action here tonight for 133 laps around the course here in Sin City. So let's take a look at our conditions tonight, Finian. And it's 76 degrees in the air, 77 on the track, mostly cloudy skies. And you know what that means? It's going to be fast.
Actually just dropped down to 76.
There you go.
Yeah, so it's going to be a very fast track here. It's pretty much as cool as this track's going to get. Might climb up just a little bit once these guys start putting rubber down and heat up the track just a little bit. But yeah, I'm really interested in seeing how that's going to affect the package. So, because in real life we saw them, it was relatively warm, wasn't hot per se, but here it's going to be pretty much as cold as you can get it. So,
take a look at our starting lineup. On the front row, Johnny Thomas in the number 83, alongside Kevin Jadrosic in his number 42 Ford Fusion. Good to see a Ford in the field here. I remember, I think last week, there was a pretty even split amongst the teams. We're on back to row number 2.
And there you got Brandon Kluser, who's in the 94. Good qualifying effort for him. And outside of him, 24, Carlos Acosta will be starting in 4th.
Back to row number 3, Matt Grunberg, last night's winner in Texas, and the trucks, a dominant performance there. We'll see if he can repeat tonight in the Cup cars. He's starting 5th alongside Richard Lafferty in the number 8.
Back in 7th, Chad Frankenfield going to be starting there in the 15. Outside him in 8th, Levi Zielinski in the number 6 Ford Fusion.
In 9th place, it's going to be Tanner Sharp in the number 3 Chevy Camaro alongside Way Lear, one of those drivers going for that No Bull 4 $20 edition. If they win the race tonight, you gotta win to get that money.
Yeah, we'll let the rest of it roll on there, but if you saw on screen there, Thomas electing to choose the outside lane, switching with Jadrosic.
Interesting there. You know, I would expect him to choose the bottom, because with the lower horsepower, you'd think that you could just floor it the whole first lap around here, but he didn't choose to do that. So, an interesting move there by Johnny Thomas. We'll see if it pays off. He'll get the launch on the start initially, which is going to help. But an interesting choice there. I wonder if we'll see that on the restarts as well. But Carlos Acosta is thrilled. He's right on the bumper of that 83, ready to go racing for 133 laps again tonight. And $20. One of those 4 drivers, Wade Lear, Paul Ross, David Wilson, or Sam Close, if they win this thing. They're No Bull 4. They'll be highlighted and run on the ticker. Field rolls out of turn number 4 at Sin City. Green flag flies, and we're racing in Vegas.
C83 got off to a blinding start. No one's going to catch him. Jadrosic and Acosta, meanwhile, fighting for 2nd place. Who's going to win this fight behind him?
Grunberg looking in the middle, 3 wide as we head back midfield. Everyone just kind of got to be careful here in the opening laps to tiptoe. Look at Jadrosic. He's not tiptoeing. He's slotted right up into the high lane. And look at Acosta crossing over to get to the inside of the 42 down the back straight.
Yeah,
they get together. Ooh. Acosta loose on the apron. He's going to save it, but he's going to stack up the whole field behind him.
Oh, boy.
And Zielinski and the 94 Kluser, who's got thrown out of their line.
And everyone else did a great job avoiding that. That could have been a huge wreck there, so good on everyone else on their toes.
Not out of the woods yet here. Oh, there they go. 94 spins down in turn number 1. We stay green. And more crashing behind him. Richard Hines involved in the field, slowing to a stop. And the 75 of Frank Sims gets caught up, and that caution flies here early. That was a wreck that took about 2 laps to completely finish there.
Yeah, I would say it started in coming out of turn 4 and ended up in turns 1 and 2. I see caution no fuel coming to a stop there.
So Kloosterhuis really got the worst end of that, as did Frank Sims in the 75. That car is destroyed, and Richard Hines, he got collected up in the aftermath of this mess. But let's go back and take a look at how it started. And really, there's just too many cars and too small of a spot here, Finian. But let's look from up above. Maybe they'll give us a better idea.
Yeah, so there are 3 wide here, coming through the coming through the tribal.
And just Wade Lear, they get together. Liam Sheen gets tagged as well. And 94 does a great job keeping this off the racetrack. And then Richard Hines tried to miss it. He hit the wall on the inside, and Frank Sims just nowhere to go for the 75. Oh, he got into Richard Hines. He's the one Set Hines for the caution. Took a while to come out there, Finian, so I don't know if people knew that this was really happening up the road. Let's go back and right on board with Richard Hines and see what he could see out his windshield here. See it happening up there. Hines does a pretty good job of slowing down, misses the 14, he gets hit from behind, smashes that inside wall, and they managed to get out of that with relatively minor front-end damage. But caution out here early, Finian. Aggressive driving out of the get-go, and got a split decision here on pit lane. It looks like we're going to have the first about dozen cars or so say on the track, and other cars coming to pit road for certain.
Pretty much most of the guys with damage and guys toward the back coming in to make their pit stop here.
Yeah, Levi Zielinski also comes on down, and he got kind of jacked up from his starting position. He started in the 8th spot. He's running 19th now after making this pit stop. He's going to continue to drop, but he got wadded up in turn 3 after Carlos Acosta slipped, and that's really what started that whole thing, is when Acosta and Jadrsic got together down in turn 3.
Yeah.
Acosta got loose, went up the racetrack, and stacked everybody up, and then they just got together on the front straight. The pit road here, and Sam Close also hitting. Rolls off the pit lane. Kuzru's got that car repaired mostly, I'd say. It's been worse.
Yeah, I think really the only thing he needs to worry about is that left front. Back end, pretty much fine, other than a few wrinkles, which you can get away with here, but really the front of the car is what you're going to worry about.
All right, so field collecting down in turns 3 and 4. And we should be coming back to the green here in just a moment. So Jadrsic and Acosta probably not thrilled with each other, I'd imagine, after that little fiasco down into turn 3. Too early to be aggressive, or was that just a racing thing for you?
Kind of just a racing thing, and again, new package for all these guys again around each other. So you kind of gotta temper yourself, kind of figure out how the car is gonna drive. So you might want to just play it a little bit easier here, considering this is relatively unfamiliar ground. So I think these guys should probably give each other some room here on the start, and especially on the start too, because we've seen with this package these guys can go 3 wide easily for the first few laps, side by side, several rows on back.
We also know they're quite capable of doing that. I mean, last night in the Truck Series race, the majority of this field competed in. We went caution free from flag to flag for 100 laps at Texas. I think once we get strung out here, we'll probably see more of the same. But Johnny Thomas is going to choose the outside lane again. It would seem to work for him here. That's familiar to me. I would think with this package, you'd almost always want to take the inside lane unless you're at Darlington or something.
Yeah, I'm guessing Thomas is figured since he's going to get the jump, might as well have a better arc going into the turn. So I think that's what he's trying to do.
I also will mention that Paul Ross is our in-race reporter after winning the race last week and also qualifying for that Noble 4. He's going for an extra $20 tonight if he wins the race. Right now, he's the highest running of those Noble 4 drivers in 8th place. The other 3 have come down pit road. So field rolling out of turn number 4. Let's try this again here, Finian. Johnny Thomas, Kevin Jadrsic, Lafferty, Acosta, Tanner Sharp, Chad Frankenfield, their top 6. Then it's Paul Ross, Chad Brown, Justin Kolb, and last night's winner, Matt Gruenberg, rounds out your top 10. We're back racing again in Las Vegas.
And another great start from Johnny Thomas, and a slightly better start from Carlos Acosta behind him. He's going to try to beat Jadrsic before they get to the turn.
Lafferty on the outside lane, the number 8 car, trying to follow through Johnny Thomas as they look at how low they're staying here. It's like almost like a plate race on the back straightaway. Car in the fence in the background, and I think that's Race Clark in the number 22. And they'll continue without incident, but you head back up towards the front. There's Acosta. Look at this fight here, Finny, out of turn 4.
Yeah, it's going to be intense. And again, guys, got to watch their nerves. Got to be very careful because it's going to be very close quarters for these opening few laps of this run. You don't want to make it
dropping down below the white line there. That's fair game here at Las Vegas, and he's going to make it work and pass 2 cars in 1 corner. But look at that, Jadrsic and Acosta getting close together again. I cannot imagine they're very thrilled with each other. Look at this, Lafferty going for the lead out of the exit of turn 2.
And Jadrsic is about to get swallowed up by Paul Ross in behind, and we got a big wreck here. I see Zielinski involved as well.
The worst of that, I think, was Rusty Webb. You mentioned it, Finny. Levi Zielinski. Oh, he's all torn up.
Yeah, that car is pretty much done there.
It's smoking for sure, but that 88 definitely got the worst end of it. He's crabbing down the back straightaway. For our second caution here in the opening laps at Las Vegas, let's take a look at how this one started. It wasn't where I thought we were going to have an incident. Really where we got one. So here's the 88 of Rusty Webb. They get down here to turn number 1, and Levi Zielinski got up into the fence and bounced off, and that's how this started. Oh, that was Cogswell. Oh, man. And Klooster, who's got a... Or was that... Let's see who that was, that other piece is that. Let's take a look up above. Yeah, it was Klooster's that got another piece of it. Liam Sheen scraped on through. One other car, I think it was... 9 car of Nick Miller. Also, I think he might have been able to net code through that. Let's ride on board Nick Miller's machine here. As Zelensky just gets up into the fence here, bounces off, and nothing that Rusty Webb could do. A huge impact to the outside wall, and Nick Miller is a lucky man today. And Stevens did get collected. You are right, Finian. He did get a piece of that, a pretty significant one at that. Oh, he got run over by Liam Sheen, who was barreling on through there. Stevens gets collected as well. So second caution in the first couple laps here, Finian. Like you said, I mean, there's probably an aggression level that's just a bit too high right now. But again, it's the new package and first mile and a half. Again, a lot of these guys, remember, these 3-wide guys don't race in an off-season like a lot of the other leagues that we do. So for a lot of them, I'm sure this is probably the first time, or at least one of the first times, that they've raced this package in a league racing scenario.
Yeah.
So they have to get used to this just like everybody else has. We've been doing Fuel and Outsider for a couple months now, and they're still getting used to it. So there's going to be a learning curve, I think.
Yeah, and I'm sure probably some drivers might have just purposely avoided using the package altogether because it's very controversial on iRacing. For most people, most drivers not liking it on the mile and a half, which is usually what makes up most of the schedules. So especially the Cup schedule this season, so a bit of a learning curve. I think this race is definitely going to be a bit of a learning curve going forward for the rest of the season. Did you know that Area 51's right over these mountains? No, but I'm not too surprised. Ironically, I was.
Would you be surprised if I was just pulling your leg and that was completely made up fact?
Oh, the reason why I was thinking that was true because we're gonna get a little bit nerdy here.
Oh boy.
The Flight Simulator X, the mission.
Yeah, whether you chase the aliens.
No, well that and also the one where you fly you fly representatives or some people to yeah. So I was thinking, I'm pretty sure it's in Nevada. Is it Nevada?
It is Nevada. Yeah.
Okay. I don't know where the hell this track is. I know it's Las Vegas, but I don't know where
it's near Vegas. I don't know if you can see.
No, you can't. You don't want to see anything.
What is that, though?
That Autogen scene.
It's probably the Air Force. No, that's not the Air Force.
No, it's definitely not there.
Oh, the what's the Air Force Base on the other side of this? It's the Nellis Air Force Base.
Oh.
Is off the backstretch a couple miles.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Actually, they call it the Nellis Super Stretch.
Oh, I always wondered that. I never realized that's why.
Actually,
you
we
get
can
2, 3,
get right here. If we get Nellis straightaway.
No, yeah.
Whatever they call it. It's Daytona Super Stretch.
I've always wondered why it was called that.
Now you know.
It's
called that because the track name, the track builder was Nellis.
Okay, I don't know.
I'm just kidding.
I don't know what to believe anymore.
Okay, pace car rolling out of turn number 4. We're going to try this one more time. Johnny Thomas again chooses the outside lane, but this time it's Lafferty on the inside. Janderson just come down pit road. We're restarting all the way back in 26th place in number 42. Clouds have come over the speedway here, Finney, and I'm going to
they've come and gone.
Temperature's actually going to drop down quite a... Actually, it's raised a little. But it's going to drop back down again. Green flag flies again, and we're racing again back in Sin City.
Thomas got a great start. He's going to pull down in front of second place driver in there, the 8 of Lafferty.
I wasn't paying attention. Did he do it before the line, or did he do it after?
No, he did it after.
Okay.
But
we'll call that. We've seen that in the past.
Yeah, we've seen the driver development series. They're not afraid to call that on people, and that can completely affect the outcome of a race. But you see the leader's already in a single file line, although I don't think it's going to last for too long.
No, here comes Carlos Acosta to the outside lane. He's been aggressive so far today. Tanner Sharp through to 3rd, and here comes the 15 of Frankenfield, who started in 7th. He's working his way up into this mix as well as they come across complete lap number 11. For the lead, Lafferty all over, but Tanner Sharp's going to go to the outside lane and finish with the cloud cover like it is. I think we're going to see a lot of this draft-style, Talladega-style racing.
And you saw the temperature, there was 91 degrees.
Whoa! Big block by the 83 down in front of Lafferty, and Tanner Sharp goes to the outside down in turn number 3, and he's going to power around. Lafferty tight entering the corner. He's got Acosta all over his rear bumper, but Tanner Sharp out of turn 4 is going to prevail for now, but looks like Thomas still has that inside lane. Who's going to lead that lap? It's going to be Sharp by a nose. But they're all packed together down into turn number 1.
Yeah, it's only going to get worse. You see guys catching up to the lead pack, and they're doubling up side by side. And you guys gotta be very careful. But that inside line looks like it's getting choked. That outside lane, I think, is gonna be the place you want to be.
And lots of movement going on around here, Finian. That's kind of scary to watch as they bounce back and forth between lanes. And Acosta's been aggressive, but it hasn't been working. He slipped back to 7th. Tanner Sharp has also lost a couple spots, but here comes Paul Ross. He's in that bright green number 18 tonight, and he's going for that extra 20 bucks, but he needs to win the race to do it. He's on the outside of Frankenfield down into turn 1 as the 15 takes the lead away.
A little bit of a slip from
Whoa!
Frankenfield.
Tanner Sharp up the middle, 3 wide.
Yeah, you check that off the corner. Ross still going to punch it on the outside. He's going to lead them off into 3, but we'll leave the leader back to the line.
Well, 15 and 18, door to door, but Paul Ross just trying to edge ahead of the 15, trying to take that lead away to the line. Looks like it's going to be Frankenfield by an inch that time through, as the field is 2 and 3 wide behind him. Finian, I don't think I can take another 115 laps of this.
Yeah, I think it might fizzle out towards the end here, but I think it'll take a while. You see Sharp just cut down.
Frankenfield gets turned hard into the fence out of turn 2, and that's going to be everyone here, Finian. The big one at Las Vegas, going to take out maybe 5-10 cars, and the leaders tangle out of 2. Wow. A junkyard down in turn number 3. 18 of Paul Ross. That car is looking pretty destroyed.
Yeah, we'll have to come in to see the
Oh,
extent of
Johnny
the damage.
Thomas.
Yeah, Thomas, who's having a good run. He's going to be pretty much putting around for the rest of the night, just trying to pick up points here. That car is pretty much destroyed.
That was a lot of your leaders, folks. Let's go back and take a look. That was a dramatic accident on the exit of turn 2, and it was Frankenfield, and wow, this is a massive wreck as we get together out of 2 here. And it started, I think Frankenfield pulls over on the nose of the 18, and just Lafferty gets involved. Oh, Sam Close, a horrific crash into the fence, and the one of, I think that's Dylan Hickey, got involved in that, but Sam Close went for a ride here, Finian, and this was a violent crash. Good look. He's the blue and yellow car here. It's just launched up. David Wilson. That was 3 of our 4 drivers in the No Bull 4, Finian.
Yeah, I mean, it's like a lot of big names taking out in that wreck.
Actually, Lear actually got some damage here too as well. He was the only driver that I thought made it through in the No Bull 4. But let's ride on board and see what he saw.
I think he already had a decent amount of damage beforehand, but he might have picked up some here.
No, he already had damage from before. Wow, look at Corey Lindsay locking it down.
Yeah.
Holy cow.
A lot of these drivers toward the back did a great job getting it well down because the entire track was blocked at one point.
Yeah, what I want to see here, though, Finian, is how this mess started. Ooh. What I think we should do is go half speed here, and we're going to find, I think, is the 18 and the 2. The 18 and the 15. The 15 slips up off the bottom here, Finian, and pulls across the nose. Nothing Paul Ross could have done there.
Yeah.
And he gets turned across the racetrack, and this is going to be a hard lick into the inside wall here.
Oh, yeah. The right side of the car comes off the ground.
Look at that mess behind him. 89 of Brent Miller also involved. I wish I had a graphic that showed all the drivers involved.
I would say almost we're at a point where we'd have to show the drivers not involved.
Yeah, I mean, that was a big one, Finian, but that's going to be a retirement for at least a couple cars here. But let's check back in with who's leading this race.
Liam
Looks like Liam Sheen. There were some pit stops that just happened. Let's take a look here. Gianna, well, actually...
Yeah, everyone, I think, sharp on back, and here actually come the rest of the guys in the top 3.
So it's going to be just Liam Sheen now that has stayed out. And probably a strategy call for the 51 just to stay out of the mess. But Tanner Sharp and Carlos Acosta made it through, and both of them without any visible damage. And those were the only 2 cars that were part of that lead pack that were not involved.
Yeah, honestly, if I was a 51, I would take tires, go to the back. I think that's a much safer place to be than at the front. I mean, I really think just because we saw those guys, everyone double filing up there, everyone was pretty much in a pack towards the front.
Yeah,
when that wreck happened, there was almost nowhere for the first 4 or 5 rows to go.
It's definitely a pack race sort of mentality.
Yeah.
But I don't think that this early. I mean, we came off of Daytona last week, and you know, this is such a different style of racing, and I just think, you know, and it's an accident. I mean, Frankenfield slipped up off the bottom and got into Paul Ross, and nothing Paul Ross could have done, nothing he did wrong, but it's just a matter of guys getting used to this and how to race it, and it's going to take these growing pains to learn how to do it. But Finian, a big mess here.
And actually, one guy I want to look at, Chuck Sweeting, didn't qualify. Yeah, we can see where he started. I think it was probably, yeah, it was 24th already up to 9th. So I think he might have saw the carnage up ahead, and I think figured start from the back. And here he is getting placed up pretty high in the order, although it's still fairly early on in this race, as we're still got over 100 laps to go.
That right side number is a little low there.
Yeah, I would say so.
Something not quite right with that. So Tanner Sharp and Carlos Acosta, I think they're playing the strategy here, Finian, but Acosta was one of the ones making those crazy moves, but didn't manage to get into anybody and got tiptoed through that red. But
that's a beautiful car too.
So now we take a look, Finian. Remember, the drivers highlighted in red are going for the extra $20 if they were to win this race. There was 4 of them. The only one left running, at least in competitive nature,
I would say in the
is
top
the 11
15
of Wade Lear.
Yeah, Lear's the only one in the top 15.
And he's got damage too. I mean, his car isn't looking pretty either.
He's got a pretty damaged car. Needless to say, I don't think there's going to be a driver going away with $20 here.
Probably not. And again, that's just when your car is packed up that close together, and you put that much on the line. You know what this reminds me of, Finian, is to a lesser extent is Indianapolis, or Indy 2011 back in Las Vegas. You put a lot of money on the line, you get a car that races like this, you get 30 of them on a racetrack, and that's what you get.
And honestly, if I were these drivers, after I saw that wreck, I would have pussied out and gone straight to the back. I think that's honestly a safer bet than being up towards the front here.
Look who is in P4, is the 4 of Luis Almaso. 3OG racing driver.
Yeah, a lot of drivers now put to the front that weren't sitting there, so almost completely different top 10 too. We'll see what this new batch of drivers is going to do. If they're going to be as aggressive, or they're going to kind of back it off down.
Retirements: Brent Miller in the 89, Klusterus in the 94, Levi Zielinski in the 6, Rusty Webb in the 88, and Frank Sims in the 75. Let's try it again. Green flag back in the air after 3 yellows in the opening going here in Las Vegas. Justin Kolb didn't get a very good restart. He's got Chuck Sweeting all over him, but for the lead here, Finney and Tanner Sharp getting a shove from Carlos Acosta, but couldn't get the rear bumper of Liam Sheen. But remember, Sheen's on older tires.
Yeah, I'm really
see how long it'll last here.
Yeah, I'm really curious in seeing how Liam's going to hold up compared to everyone else on a fresher rubber. Will he stay there? Will he fall back a few positions?
Whoa.
Here comes Tanner Sharp to the inside.
Whoa,
Sheen's going to
boom.
pinch. Wow.
Close quarters there, but Sharp gets to the inside. We're going to be door-to-door on a turn number 4. And Tanner Sharp to the lead with help from Carlos Acosta on the front straightaway. And 3 wide for the lead here in Vegas.
3 wide for the lead. Looks like Sharp's going to get it just ahead of Acosta. Acosta's going to do a crossover into 1. And he's going to pull to the inside. He's going to be fighting with Sharp for the lead.
Side by side for the lead. Acosta can taste it. He's got help from Luis Salmaso now, but he's going to go defensive. Salmaso's going to back out. Liam Sheen right at the bumper of the 3 as they head down into turn 3. And close quarters here, and, well, we haven't learned a whole lot yet, have we, Finian?
Yeah, I was going to say, deja vu. Getting a lot of it here as everyone's stacking up towards the front.
And, again, if one person makes a mistake like we saw earlier, it's going to take out even
another
more
10 cars.
And look at Kyle Hanshaw on the 46. He's tucked his way in here in the 5th spot for now and riding on board. We can see how crazy this is. Just a couple feet on either side and not a whole lot of room to make a mistake. There's Race Clark in the 22 popping into this picture.
So Hanshaw currently in a prime position. He's had a pretty good start to this season so far, running up in both series. He's been running up towards the front. You see this entire pack roll on through. That's about 20 cars in that pack here.
Yeah, and everyone's pretty much still full throttle. Liam Sheen goes way up the racetrack, and now Sharp and Acosta go panel to panel through turn number 2, and now we're 3 wide for 3rd behind him. Race Clark in the middle. It's going to squeeze right up in front of Liam Sheen. There's Justin Cole with a pink car up the middle, 3 wide. That's back for about 6th place. As Race Clark has found his way battling for 4th and 3rd with Luis Salmaso.
Oh, he's going to go for the lead. He's going to look to the middle of Tanner Sharp. He's going to be 3 wide with Salmaso to the inside. Battle for 2nd here.
Acosta's got the lead now. He's clear for the moment, but Luis Salmaso putting pressure on the back bumper. Race Clark goes up the racetrack with help from Tanner Sharp. And you're still full throttle here, Finian, on tires this new, but once the tires get worn out, you're going to start to see some lifting, and now they're bump trapping on the back straightaway, and oh boy, we're flirting with another accident here.
Yeah, and I think really the good key indicator too would be looking at Liam Sheen, seeing when he's going to start backing up, when his tires start to wear out. Again, a pretty decent amount of laps put on his tires compared to everyone else.
Kyle Hanshaw up battling for 3rd now. Race Clark on the outside carrying that momentum, and maybe that's why Johnny Thomas is taking the The outside lane is to carry that speed up there. It looks like Clark's going to do it. And there's a lap car up there that's Sam closing to 5.
Yeah, you see Clark actually trying to draft off of that lap car there. Going to run into 3.
Whoa, but for the lead here. So side by side, almost contact between these two. But Carlos Acosta is going to come out on top of the lead for now.
Yeah, it's giving them quite a bit of, more downforce is giving them quite a bit of maneuverability there. You see him almost collide at mid-corner.
3 wide for 3rd place now. 4 Salmaso, the 46 of Kyle Hanshaw, the 3 of Tanner Sharp. Looks like Hanshaw's gonna, oh, he slips there mid-corner, and here comes Salmaso up to the back of Race Clark in the 22.
I would say he's lucky there. He's got the grip to do it, but again, you guys got to be very careful later on the run because at one point they're not going to have that grip. They're going to think they do, and we could potentially see a wreck here. So
which reminds me of Kansas in the Outsider Racing League race here a couple weeks ago, and except this is on the bottom, Kansas was up top. It's a very similar style of racing though. Bumper to bumper, no room for error. There's Chuck Sweeting. You mentioned him restarting, I think it was 10th or 9th. And look at it, he's right all over the bumpers of these guys battling for 5th now.
Hey, he's up in the mix. I thought he would have played a little bit more cautious here, but he's ready to fight here for the lead.
Still full throttle. Maybe a slight lift mid-corner to set the car up, but Race Clark and Carlos Acosta still side by side for the lead. Working lap number 28 now. Tanner Sharp goes all the way down to the apron. The shortcut it here, Finney, and that shortcut's going to be so tempting when you don't have the horsepower that you've had in years past. For the lead again, dooring each other down in turn 1. Acosta and Clark leading again. They've just been all over each other.
I think you're going to slowly start to see that outside lane dominate just a little bit more on the inside once the tires wear off. You've seen them pretty much even here, but watch Race Clark here coming out of the corner.
Acosta slips up the racetrack again. They're dead even now for the top spot. To the line, looks like Clark's going to lead this lap. No, Acosta does. By about an inch. Salmaso maybe giving a push to the 22 down into turn number 1. The 46 and the 26 waiting in 4th and 6th respectively.
And you got to be very careful of your Salmaso. You want to give a push to the guy ahead, just nudge the line more up in front. You got to be careful where you give that bump because if you keep entering the corner, you can send the car going flying around. And you see Clark come down to the bottom, cuts in front of Acosta. He's going to secure the lead.
Well, it's about high time to get yourself in line because there's a lap car right at the exit of turn 4. That's David Wilson, who's in 25th. He is now 1 lap down as the field scrambles on through. And Race Clark gets clear for a moment, but Acosta looks to the inside now, and Clark has been doing that, entering high and... Oh, Acosta's loose in turn number 2, and he saves it for now, but he's still sideways as they come around the corner.
Yeah, I got to separate people just a little bit there. I think he meets in contact with Salmaso, speaking of which, here he comes to the inside of Clark now.
For the top spot, Salmaso drives it in deep, slip up behind him.
Yeah.
And that was Acosta again. He's really struggling to keep the car on the bottom of the racetrack. But for the lead, Salmaso looking for it.
Yeah, he's got a run now on Clark on the inside. We'll see if he can do the job here in 1. And just really can't do anything. Just can't nudge ahead. Just can't send the car to the corner because Clark is right there running that outside lane.
Sam close again, going another lap down, and the field squirts on through. 2 and 3 wide. How about this fight behind him? Here's Nathan Velez. He's actually leading the points, Finian, after last week, even though he didn't win the race. He's the points leader, and maybe it's too early in the season to be protective of that lead, but he's certainly doing a good job so far. And we're looking 3 wide. Hanshaw's in this mess now, but he's going to wait and stick in line.
And interesting in seeing what Hanshaw's going to do here. I haven't seen a whole lot of him last season at the asphalt tracks, but on dirt is where he really shined. Fortunately, no dirt on the cup side of things, but here he is having a great run in the top 3.
Clark and Salmaso, they've been running side by side for so many laps. The question is, when do Salmaso's tires start to wear out, and what little slip is it going to take for him to get up into the 22 like we saw happen with Acosta before? But Salmaso leads that lap by a hair as they head down to turn 1, and no contact between the two. Salmaso slipping and sliding, and Race Clark is hurt.
Yeah, that was a solid door there to the... He's got some pretty heavy left side damage, that car. It's definitely going to be hurting for a little bit.
He and Chad Brown get really close together at the exit too, and Race Clark has significant damage.
And more importantly, he lost a lot of momentum. It's going to take him another lap to get back up to speed and maybe charge up to the front here if that car's not damaged enough. But they see Tanner Sharp with a big charge here, going to work around Hanshaw.
I can't tell if we're at Bristol, Talladega, or Vegas.
I think it's a weird mix of both.
It's
all 3.
It's plate style racing with the bumping and banging of a short track in a 1.5 mile package. Really interesting combination. For the top spot, though, Salmaso's got it, and I guess they've laid down the law, Finian, that you're going to be leaning on people all night tonight, so maybe you got to conserve your equipment. Salmaso's certainly worn out the right side of his car, at least the last lap or so with the 22. Look at Tanner Sharp. He's back in this fight now all over the back of the 4 as they slip and slide into turn 4. I think the tires are starting to give up here just a little bit as we've been green for about 18 laps.
Yeah, indeed, and you know these guys gotta answer the tires. You can't force the tires beyond the limits of those. They're gonna go sliding around.
Sweeting and Handshot had a bit of a miscommunication down there in turn number 1. Almost got together. Sharp going for the lead on the inside of Salmaso as they make their way down to turn 3. Sweeting now in this fight.
Sweeting leader on the 26, trying to rocket around Tanner Sharp. Sharp trying to get ahead of Louis Salmaso. Can't get it done on that inside.
Salmaso throwing a block to the outside lane. Which line do you choose here, Finian? I would reckon you want to be on that outside lane to carry the momentum, and that's the line he's going to choose as Sharp goes back to the bottom. And Handshot up the middle.
Ooh, you see Sharp get in front of Handshot. Handshot's going to have none of it. He's going to look to the inside.
Everyone else pretty single file behind him, minus the 52 of Cole popping down a line back there. But everyone in the front is still racing hard. The 3-car of Sharp gets booted up the racetrack, and he's way outside the groove. But for the lead, it's settled for now. Salmaso, Sweeting, Handshot, Acosta. And Chad Brown's fought his way into this mix in the 64.
Yeah, we're really starting to see guys single file out. I think the tires are starting to take their effect. Everyone's kind of migrating slowly to that top lane.
Right on board with Nathan Velez, started 28th. He's up to 7th and a scratch on that car. Yet tonight he's doing a really good job. Working lap number 37 of 133. And then you got to start thinking about green flag pit stops, fitting about 20, 30 laps. And how do you want to attack those at a racetrack like this? We know how difficult Vegas is to get onto pit lane because the pit lane's so far to the inside of the racetrack. If we have green flag stops, you have to be paying attention. Brown threw a block on Tanner Sharp there on the end of the straightaway. Chuck Sweeting now getting pressure from Hanshaw as they work their way through 1 and 2.
Yeah, I'm really going to be curious here how guys are going to try to be making passes from that outside lane because I think that lane's going to be so dominant. You almost got to get physical to try to move someone out.
Chad Brown and Carlos Acosta almost got physical there. Tanner Sharp also on the outside lane trying to make a pass there, and they're side by side at the line, and Sharp clears the 64, and here comes Velez in the 48 up to the outside lane, and here's Kevin Finn back here lurking in that purple and white Crown Royal number 14, and look behind him, last night's winner in the Truck Series at Grunberg. As Handshot and Acosta battle for second, they've single filed out down into turn number 3. Acosta looking to the outside of the 46 car now. Tomaso's been leading, he's been clear, but he hasn't been able to pull away. I think we're going to see a lot of drivers stuck in line. I don't think it's going to be possible to break that draft unless you have a really good race car and a really good set of circumstances, but for now, they're still tied together in a freight train down the front straight.
Yeah, Hanshaw trying to find himself around Chuck Sweeting. You got to be careful here because if he gets rooted out there on the inside line, he can get past where everyone behind him. He can fall back in line in third.
Let's jump back a little ways to check out Kevin Giadricic in the number 42. He started up in second place. He's now running 15th. Some slight damage to that car, but working over Dylan Hickey for the 14th spot.
You saw him have an incident with Acosta earlier in the race, and then that lap 2 wreck. That brought out the caution there. That put him back quite a few spots.
Oh, crash! Nathan
Velez.
Velez in turn number 1, slipping, sliding, tags the 52, and Cole slams
Oh,
the barrier.
whoa!
Whoa, man, and that is the 7 for the 27 of Jonathan Cogswell. That took a horrific crash at the exit at turn number 2, and caution out for the 4th time tonight, and that was a vicious impact for the 52 for me.
Tough break for him. Looked like he was going to get out of there unscathed, but then at the last second, car snapped around and around he went there. You see the 52 crabbing down the back straightaway.
That car certainly seen better days. He almost made it through this, but this started with the 48 of Nathan Velez. And let's go back and see what triggered this to happen from up above. So there's Velez and the 14. I think you're going to see maybe the 64 and 48 get together here. Oh, 48 just get, you know what? Oh, this, ooh. Team just got in there a bit hot, Finian, and tagged the 48, and then Kolb gets clipped. And then Race Clark, who was leading before, oh my goodness, Giadricic got in it as well. I think that was...
Yeah, McEvoy also got in it.
McEvoy. Justin Kolb took a horrific lick right on board here with the 52, and he probably thought he was through this here.
Oh. And just got turned around into the wall hard. That car is done.
It's hit again. I think that was McEvoy that got into the door ahead.
And it's kind of right on board with. Hard look there. Right on board with Cogswell for his wild ride. Brace yourselves. It's gonna be a wild one here.
Oh boy. He actually got launched off. There was a car pinned between him and the wall, and they just kind of launched each other off here. And Right here. It's launched right into Giadricic and slams into the inside barrier. That'll likely be a DNF. There's Corey Lindsay sneaking on through and actually right on board with the 0-0 because he actually managed to get through without getting involved, and here's his view. On the brakes quick enough to miss this. The machine, I think he snuck on through there without any incident. Oh, some slight contact there, but should be good in the junkyard behind. Here is a look at 52 in the. He's at the top right of your screen here. The 48 slipping down the racetrack, tags the 52. Gonna be a bad impact here. Right into that safer barrier. Then watch the 27, the blue and white car. Big net code.
Yeah, and it flung him straight across into this. Into
Dylan Hickey almost made it through. We'll have to ride on board with him too.
Oh, and Liam Machine also narrowly escaped death.
21 had nowhere to go. Here's Dylan Hickey's on board. Almost got it. Oh, he locked it up and
good job.
Managed to get through there. And I think the last car we got to go to is the 21 of McKeevoy. We'll ride on board the gyro cam here. This is going to hurt, folks. Oh.
Actually, if we want to do just one more 51 of Liam Machine, he narrowly escaped through there. Almost hit the 22 of Race Clark.
That's right. I like the gyro cam view of this because you can see his hands here. Oh, just got through. Okay, so caution out for the 4th time tonight. Another big accident, this time more towards the middle of the pack than the front, but we've had pit stops again. Here is your running order, and looks like actually everyone's come down to pit lane, and Chuck Sweeting assumes the lead over Kyle Hanshaw, Acosta, Salmaso, and Chad Brown, your top 5.
Yeah, not surprised there. Had a really good green flag run there. And everyone getting service. What I'm more curious about is what's the DNF list looking like, because I'm sure it's pretty long. Pretty long at this point.
I'm certain that Kolb is not going to be able to drive away, so it's going to start down. Okay, we started the race with this. We started this race with 33 cars. Justin Kolb was 23rd, and everyone from him on back is out of this race. Cogswell, Velez, Close, Thomas, Paul Ross, Miller, Kluster, Zielinski, Rusty, well, I'm not done yet, and Frank Sims.
Yeah, so we lost pretty much a third of our drivers here. 23rd on back, calling it a day.
Well, also another driver that was involved pretty heavily a couple of these accidents tonight, David Wilson, and he's still running, but he's the only other driver other than Wade Lear still left out on the racetrack going for that extra $20. And if Wade Lear wins in that car, I think he deserves a bit more than $20. I mean, that is. I'd be surprised if it got to victory lane after a night.
I mean, at the rate we're going at, I mean, all he has to do is to survive. It's like that Halo mission, survive. So if he can do that, I think he'll be fine. But again, it's gonna be easier said than done here.
It's also a short race here, Finney. Only about 45 minutes left if we go green. We're almost halfway through this race. We're getting there. I mean, it's really not that much racing left, so the sense of urgency is only going to get greater. Although with less cars now, I could see the green flags becoming farther, or the yellow flags going farther and farther apart. So that's probably good for the rest of this field, especially guys like Sweeting, Hanshaw, and Acosta. Where's Gruenberg in all this? He's up in 7th. Last night's winner. Someone know if you can do a sweep the weekend here in 2 different states at 2 different racetracks, but so far not a scratch on that one sim car. Can't really say the same about his teammates. All right, coming back to the green flag, lap number 46. We've had 4 cautions on the night. For a total of 12 laps, 13 lead changes so far. It's been a very competitive race. Not a very clean one, though, but green flag flies again, and Chuck Sweeting's going to take back off. Hanshaw does not get a great restart in the outside lane. He's going to stack it up. Salmaso all over his bumper, trying to find a way around as we rocket down towards turn 1.
And you see Hanshaw trying to defend or try to gain some momentum there on that outside lane. We're going to see these guys stack up properly within a few laps' time. There you see Acosta on the back bumper of Chuck Sweeting looking for the lead.
Close quarters there. Whoa! Contact between the 4 and the 24. Then the 3 of Tanner Sharp was all right up the bumper cover.
Wow, and Acosta cutting down. Yeah, cutting down into the tri-oval on the apron, rocketing around Chuck Sweeting. He's going to lead that lap.
He has been looking like Dale Earnhardt Jr. at Talladega. He's been so aggressive tonight. making moves that no one else has been willing to make, and he just made it work. He's going to go to the top spot. Chuck Sweeting slips to second on the outside of turn 2. Tanner Sharp's going to chase the 24 down to the white line, and then he's going to leave him there. Now he chases him back down as they enter turn 3. Oh, crash again, the 46 car this time. And Matt Gruenberg involved as well as Wade Lear.
And several others involved. Kevin Finn, looking back there, the 1.
The 20 of Steve
Hickey.
Keckman as well. And, well, the No Bull 4 is kind of a curse tonight.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's going to be...
applying to everybody.
Yeah.
All right, started with the 46. Let's take a look. They were middle 3 wide. Chad Brown gets into the 46. And then just a stack up from there, and nothing really anybody can do. There was actually a separate crash behind.
I'm guessing that probably started from the guys just trying to slow down in time.
Yeah. 14 was the one of Dylan Hickey was trying to miss it and slipped up collecting the 14, and somewhere in there Mike Stevens got some left side damage, and then I think the 20 is Steve Keckman. I think he just stopped. Let's run on board here. Yep, he did a great job just stopping. Let it all get sorted out. That was a pretty straightforward one there, I would say. We're trying on board here. I want to see what was going on. I think Liam Sheen got a pretty good view of this, so let's ride on board here.
Yeah, you see Gruenberg there just kind of riding around, and up there you see Chad Brown. And
Chad Brown got loose entering the corner. You know, that or he jerked up over to the right. Not sure. Maybe we can look inside and see what the hands on the wheel were doing here to get a better idea.
I'd be kind of surprised if he was loose.
He looked out of control, but I don't know.
The tires are pretty much brand new. Let's see what he...
He's got... I mean, I don't know. You tell me.
Yeah. I think he... I'm guessing he got loose by himself. I think jerked it too far left and tried to counter it right, and then ended up veering into Hanshaw. In the corner there, so...
Where Lindsay's on board. He did a great job getting through. Just pulled it all the way down to the inside wall. Him wrecked behind him. Okay, so let's head back up live here. We've had another sequence of pit stops, and some have pit, some have not. And the ones that have pit are everyone from Brown on back. Top 4 have stayed out of the ring, correct? So Acosta and Sharp are the only guys that have been running up front all night that have not really been involved in an incident. And the lucky 2. And with that, let's do another update on your DNFs here, Finian. So everyone from Kolb on back is officially out of the race.
Yeah, and we should just clarify the rule. 3WideRacing has an 11-6 rule. If on tracks under a mile, if you're more than 11 laps down, you're done for the day. At tracks a mile and more, it's 6 laps and you're done. So yeah, so Kolb, everyone past Kolb on back is completely done for the day. I think Lear looks like he's going to join the list here. I'm not sure if he's trying to just fix the car up as much as he can and get back out there.
Yeah, the car's pretty destroyed. I don't know, but he might try, but he's already 2 laps down, so he's only got 4 laps to get this resolved. But we're going back green here in a moment, Finian. And once the green flag flies, you're going to get yourself stuck.
And how about Gruenberg? They're just trying to tough it out with that 54. He's trying to get a huge amount of damage to his nose, and I think, again, just kind of in it for the points here, looking at the bigger picture.
Well, again, let's remember here that every point is going to matter this season, Finian. So you're going to have to tough this out. And drivers like this, the drivers that are willing to stick through this, and this is only the drivers that have a car capable of actually competing without being a hazard, but the drivers that stick it out instead of just laying down the wheel for the night, these are the drivers that'll be competing later. Because if you can make it's not your good days that define your season, Finian, it's the bad days and making your bad days less bad.
Yeah, and I can speak from experience. I've been in stock car leagues, and you know, you have the days where you just end up wrecking early on the race, and you have to just sit there with a damaged car right around as everyone else has got 100 more horsepower than you, and you're just kind of hanging on, just trying to pick up points as more and more wrecks happen. So I think it's kind of what Gruenberg is hoping for. At the rate we're going, we're going to have a few more retirements, and he's just going to try to pick up the pieces.
Yeah, Paul Ross is supposed to be our in-race reporter tonight, but he was taken out about 22 laps into this event, so we'll have to pick somebody else. Not sure who that's going to be yet. We'll talk to somebody maybe next yellow. So, again, 50 laps into this race, almost halfway through. We've had 5 cautions for 16 of our 51 laps. At least they're nice and short here.
And apparently Liam Sheen also, he's going to be done for the day. He got some damage to the radiator. He said the temp got up to 270 just piecing. So,
Well,
the list goes on. So that
and
means
Wade Lear is now 3 laps down and is about to go a lot more. So I would say Wade Lear is essentially, and even if he gets back out, he's going to end up more than 6 laps down. So Wade Lear's night essentially over. So Gruenberg is the last driver on the racetrack that's running, and who knows if that car is going to make it the whole night either.
yeah, I think it's just kind of fingers crossed and just hope that that the engine at least stays cool and is able to run. Hopefully, this doesn't detonate itself.
So 51 laps into this race, we've had 5 yellows, all of them involving multiple cars. I don't think we've had a single car incident all night long.
And also major players too.
Yeah, and most of them have been at the front.
Yeah.
Which typically in seasons or in races past, I think in 2019, my record of catching a wreck while it's happening has been horrible. Yeah. Tonight it's been quite good.
Yeah, indeed it is. And how about Frankenfield up there in 4th? We saw him involved in earlier incident. That car looks worse for wear. But he's currently up in 4th place. Let's see if he can hang on with a damaged car.
Well, the clouds have come over here, Finian, and the temperature has dropped back down to where it started at 76 degrees in the air, 77 on the racetrack. It's been aggressive, it's been messy, but we're coming back to the green flag, and we're racing again here at Las Vegas.
Another good start for Acosta there. Not so much for Tanner Sharp on the outside lane. Here comes RaceKings.
Yeah, this is Acosta's race to lose now. I mean, he's been the one that's been consistently outperforming people with the moves he's been making. I'd be surprised if he wasn't a player at the end of this.
I was going to say, from the looks of it so far, I think it's going to be come down to between Acosta, Sharp, and Salmaso. Those guys have been the guys who have appeared through the smoke here in this coming to the second half of this race.
So Tanner Sharp slips on through the inside of RaceKings to take over second. He's going to jump to the outside lane and jump back to the inside. Crosses over to the inside of the white line. Now, the question here is, Finian, is once you go below that white line, that driver on the outside doesn't have to give you the space to get back on the racetrack. So these guys got to be careful that they don't trap themselves down there and cause an incident.
Oh boy, and you see Sharp get hit the apron there. He loses some momentum, and Acosta almost rears him. He goes to the outside. Here comes Salmaso with a huge run behind him.
Sharp's got an inside groove. I think the outside's the place to be after the first couple laps, but for now, the inside prevails. Sharp's got the lead. Salmaso putting pressure on, and Sharp's going to go down to the apron to defend, and Salmaso's going to try to shoot the gap, but Acosta wants to make that 3 wide. He's going to stick in line for now, dive to the inside underneath the 4 down for turn number 1.
He's going to try to gas it up here to the inside. Salmaso's going to get a nice run off the corner.
They're just hooking it dead left to the exit of turn 2. Just rim riding the inside of the racetrack.
You guys have so much downforce they're able to do so. It's it's pretty much impressive here. You see Acosta cut down immediately to the apron coming off of 4, which is something you were almost never able to do before.
Carrying all that speed into turn number 1, what do you do with it? You lift for a second, and you're right back in the throttle.
You see RaceKings, he's sticking in this. Has been able to make some aggressive moves there. I mean, it might be due to a little bit of damage to his car, but again, now what Frankenfield doing behind. Really, quite a bit of damage to his car. He's still riding in 6th.
Battle for second before the 24 and the 42. And they were starting to kind of get packed up again here, Finian. They've not been able to stretch this field out at all. And Tanner Sharp under attack now from the inside and the outside.
I will say it looks a lot calmer now. I think guys have had their fun for now and just kind of trying to get up some laps under their belt.
This is calm. I don't want to know what exciting is.
Compared to the first opening few laps of the race.
Chad Brown slipping and sliding on the back straightaway on corner entry once again. He's tucked in 6th place right now. And Sharp been doing a great job defending down there. He almost clipped the grass on the front straightaway, keeping it so low as they get down to turn 1. Look at Acosta keeping it down there as well, but Salmaso putting pressure on the outside lane, and now he's got help up there as well. I think as we go, that outside's going to get better and better and better, and Salmaso's going to have a run here. He's going to take it to the outside of the 3 on the backstretch.
One guy I'm actually kind of interested is the 15 of Frankenfield. He looks like he's getting braver and braver as these laps go on. I think he's ready to start to get back in this thing.
Oh boy. Well, they want to get back into the back of the 24, I can tell you that. Slipping and sliding now. And I guess it looks like these guys are so controlled from some angles, and other angles it looks like they're just wheeling it around here.
Yeah, it really is a lot of perspective, because when you're out on board with them, it's not as bad, but when you're looking at the TV cameras, it just looks like they're all over the place, and it's absolute madness down there.
To some high-octane action here at Las Vegas. Look at this on the back straightaway. 3 wide. Dad Brown, wow, he's been doing that all. Is there a bump or something there? It looks like, oh, the 24 on the apron again. He's going to get slipped up in the middle of the racetrack. There's Frankenfield all over him trying to take advantage of it.
Yeah, instead he just gets held up here, and here comes that outside lane charging on through.
Oh boy, we've seen Chad Brown though the last 3 laps. He's moving about 7 to 8 feet side to side.
Oh, and here he is, middle 3 wide.
And that's what's that caused that previous incident. So I think Brown's got to be careful here.
Yeah, he's got a
Oh, car spinning. Who is it? Lafferty in the fence.
Yeah, single car incident there. Just clipped the apron and around he went. Still remaining green here. But yeah, coming back to Brown, even there, yeah, I saw a big wiggle out of him in 3. I'm not sure what's going on with that car.
I don't think he has any damage that would be causing that. Lafferty, I didn't even know he was still running in this race. He's been quiet ever since the opening couple laps. He's back in 14th now after that slip up. But in turn 1, look at that outside lane gaining momentum now. Sharp and Salmaso have switched lines. Sharp has been playing this extremely smart as well.
Yeah, there's Chad Brown looking to the inside of Frankfield. They're going to be 3 wide here, entering 3.
Oh boy, that's a tight hole to fit through. For the top spot, still side by side. And now Carlos Acosta giving a shove to Tanner Sharp on the front straightaway to get down to turn number 1. He's going to lay off the bumper, and that was a smart move there.
Yeah, and just watch the run he gets out of the corner and then back to the back bumper of Tanner Sharp. Look at that.
And they're going to give a big boost, and Sharp's going to clear the 4. Tomasos gets to take the shorter way around now. They just cannot get away from each other.
Yeah, we saw them start to spread out about 25 laps into the run. That's really when these guys start to calm down a little bit, once the tires start to wear out, and we're sort of seeing that start to happen now.
We also had a bit of a division in the field. There's a couple stragglers at the back of this after that 8-car spun.
And I'm sure there's also a lot of guys who are also with a decent amount of damage as well, so that's not helping their issue at all. So you see pretty much the lead pack, and 7 some odd seconds behind them is Jordan McKeevoy in 14th.
Sharp and Salmaso continuing to battle door to door here at Las Vegas as they exit turn 2. Slip up there by the 4 car.
You guys gotta be very careful. I've noticed that I think it's really on the exits that these guys end up getting very close to each other. Even mid-corner, they're coming down on each other. They got to be a little bit careful here.
Right on board with Frankenfield as he watches from 6th place. Got Chuck Sweeting down to his inside. And they're still almost full throttle, and we're now about 15 laps into this run, and the pass for the lead again is those top 2 continue to go at it here, Finian. That outside lane is going to start prevailing more and more and more, and we've seen that. I think most people have joined that outside group. It's getting stronger, but Tomas is still holding strong down there.
Yeah, still holding strong, but again, you got to ask, it's going to be how much longer can he hold it down there. He's going to try, I think, to take the lead from Tanner Sharp before he tries to commit to that outside lane.
You gotta have to really set it in deep. Now look at him up the middle of the racetrack. He's got more room to play with, but he slips there mid-corner and just can't keep that wheel turned in at the throttle level he's using. There's some slower cars up the road. They gotta be careful when they get there, but still for the lead, these 2 are just flip-flopping back and forth.
Yeah, no clear winner between these 2. Acosta's kind of sitting in behind, debating which lane he wants to go. I imagine he's going to pick the outside lane with Tanner Sharp, and indeed he does.
Acosta's going to give a push to that 3 as they get down to turn 1. 7 or 8 car lengths between the 4 and the 15 on the inside lane, but oh boy, just inches they're playing with there on the exit of turn 2.
Ooh.
Almost contact now.
Yeah, playing with a few more inches there, almost dooring each other, but they keep it clean.
Corey Lindsay popping out of line back here on Chad Frankenfield. Let's head back up to the front. I want to miss this. They're closing in on the 22 of Race Clark and the 39 of David Wilson. How are they going to handle this?
The lap cars are staying to the outside, and I think these guys should be able to give enough room.
They do, but it's going to hurt Salmaso's run, and Carlos Acosta's going to take advantage and slip right around the outside. He looks like he might even be able to clear the 4. He's clear. He's going to go to the inside. Yes, he does contact there with the rear quarter panel of the 3, and he gets to the inside, but he slips up mid-corner, contact again as they exit the corner, and now they're side by side.
Oh man, I'm amazed that that 3 didn't get hit or moved around or anything. That thing was planted. And he's looking exactly easy. Could have been a wreck there, but Acosta's still going to try to get around Tanner Sharp as he rockets on the outside and clears him.
Car length in the outside lane between the 3 and the 4. Now Acosta slips up mid-corner, hits the apron on corner exit. He's going to lose all that ground he just gained. Giadricic sitting in 4th. Race Clark just blew his motor back here, fitting in the number 22. So that car is going to have to return, and that'll be the night over for him. So now from 19th on back, We have all of our retirements, but for the top spot, we're still not done here, Finian. This has got to be some kind of side-by-side record for Vegas.
Yeah, I think so. And here comes Tommaso. You're still fighting with Sharp on the inside. He might be able to clear him off into one. Will he be able to slide up in front of him? No, he won't.
And Sharp's going to carry that momentum. It's another 4 or 5 miles an hour. Now they get 6 as they come down the back straightaway. Off into turn 3, and I'm just so surprised this outside hasn't prevailed more. The sun is back out. Tommaso slipping up the racetrack, pushing the 3 up into the outside lane as they come off of turn 4. Now look at Jedersic. He's got Acosta all over his bumper. Wow, look at that. They're playing with inches. Sun's come out here, Finney, and I expect that track temperature to rise. It's already come up about 10 degrees.
Yeah, indeed it has. We saw earlier, and there goes up another one. You see, once it gets into direct sunlight, the track really starts to heat up quickly. The sun beaming down on the track.
And look at Tommaso powering on through. He's got the lead now. He slips up the racetrack, tries to clear the 3, can't quite do it. They both carry each other to the outside lane, and looks like Sharp is going to be able to carry that momentum and get back along side by side, but Tommaso almost had him cleared.
Oh, they're still fighting with inches. You see Tommaso have to get out of the gas there. His car getting too tight, and he's going to lose a lot of momentum. Here comes Acosta around, and he's going to fall back into 4th.
All right, we're definitely past halfway at this point here, Finney, and about 31 minutes of racing remaining. That's not that long here. It'll end at about 10:40 here on the East Coast. It'll be about 11:10 when we complete this race. So
if they go green all the way to the end.
If they go green, and it's possible that they will, but we're down only 18 cars running on the racetrack. I think it's a good time for a Sim TV sound storage, don't you think, Finian?
I think so.
Caution out here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway, lap number 74 for the spin of Dylan Hickey out of turn number 4.
You can do it a little bit.
Okay. So Dylan Hickey goes for a spin, and it's just been a rough night for the 1. And he was up in this lead group and just gets loose on the inside of the 14.
Oh yeah, and ended up getting some help getting spun around, but yeah, was already fighting some loose conditions. I think just the tire is starting to come off that car. That was actually a pretty long spin. Started in the middle of 3 and 4.
Frankenfield lost a bunch of ground.
Oh yeah, and there I think because he was trying to avoid the 14 and got him loose, and then Brown couldn't go anywhere. Got into him.
That was probably the most minor incident of the night. But our 6th caution in 74 laps, and it looks like everyone's going to come down and get tires and fuel, and well, it had just gotten sorted out, and now we're going to have to do it all over again.
Yep. We're going to have to see, we're going to see these guys 3 wide yet again, although there's very few cars that can do so, as the field's been pretty much cut in half from what we started with.
Yeah, 18 cars on the lead lap, the last couple of which are really not competitive anymore. Grunberg and Wilson, they're really struggling with those cars as the race off of pit road commences.
Wow, Jedersic is gonna beat these guys off of pit road.
And Acosta loses a few spots. Jedersic wins the race off pit road. Remember, he started 2nd tonight and kind of struggled in the early going, fell back. Well, I would say struggled, but really avoided all those incidents. Probably helped him in the end. He does have some fairly significant damage to that right front, but in the pack, it hasn't really seemed to affect him that much.
Yeah, so up in the front, it's going to be interesting to see how that 42 is going to handle in the air. But definitely seems to be doing pretty well when in behind someone.
Let's see if we can pull up, is Tanner Sharp around? I see him down there. Let's see if we can pull him in here and chat with him real quick. Down at the bottom. Hey, Tanner Sharp, it's Kyle from SimTV. Got a copy?
Yes, sir.
All right, Tanner. Well, it's been kind of a wild one so far. I think you spent the last about 537 laps side by side with the 4 car. What's it like out there, and how long does it take to get yourself sorted out and get single file?
It's an intense mini Daytona and mini Talladega, so if you want to call it a vague Tona or a vague Dega, that's totally up to you guys, but that's what it definitely feels like. Trying to figure out where the line is and what lines is whatever it is, but we're having a lot of fun out here. We're just trying to figure out what line to be in and when to be in it. Sometimes you get freight trains, so you kind of got to figure out. It is a 1.5 mile chess match out here for sure, but right now we've been saving gas even before the drop of the green flag, but yeah, it's been wild and crazy out here, as you guys probably see on the broadcast.
Yeah, it has been crazy from up here. I can't even imagine what it's like inside the cockpit. We've seen a lot of drivers leaning on each other, Tanner. How much can these cars take with this amount of downforce in terms of pushing and leaning on each other?
They can take a lot. I've been pushed quite a few times, and I'm surprised I didn't get spun out yet, quite frankly. But I've also been testing out the side drafting, and side drafting seems to be pretty effective on the straights and corner exits. I'm sure you guys caught that on the broadcast. But, man, this is my first time in this package ever, so this is a huge learning curve for me. Yeah, we got the 2 to green here, about to get 1 to green, so we're just going to try to figure this out. There's really no plan here. It's just kind of pack racing and trying to put yourself in position to be up towards front and winning this race.
All right, Tanner, we'll let you go and get back to work. Good luck out there. We'll hopefully see you at the end.
10-4, thank you.
One to green here, Finian, Jattersich, Sharp, Sweeting, Salmaso, Frankenfield, your top 5. Actually, it said, excuse me, it's Acosta in 5th place. Frankenfield is in 6th. So 77 of 133 laps, less than a half an hour of racing remaining. Who's your choice?
Kind of a tough one. I think I'm going to pick Tanner Sharp.
All right, that's a fun. I'll take the 4 then.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, in general, I think the cars, like I said earlier, I think the cars beat are going to be the 3, the 4, the 20, the 24, and honestly, even Chuck Sweeting, he's having a good run up there in the 26 car.
All right, well, we tried to do a sound surge prior to that yellow. Let's try again on the restart here. Stay tuned for a SimTV sound surge. For the lead, side by side between Salmaso and Sharp. They're picking up where they left off prior to that yellow flag fitting, and they're continuing to race just door to door as, look at Sweeting giving the 4 car a shove down into turn number 1.
Yeah, 26 is ready to go to the front, trying to push Salmaso on through so he can have a shot here. But it's 3 Camaros chasing a Toyota right there on that outside.
Tommaso pulling ahead now with help from the 26. The 3 drops to the inside again. He's been down there on the opening couple laps. He just talked to us, said the side draft was so effective on the corner exits, and look at him carrying the speed onto the front straightaway now, and he's going to drop way down on the apron. He's got no help. Acosta's a couple car lengths behind. He's going to close that gap into turn 1, but Tommaso, I think, going to get clear here on corner exit.
Yeah, I think also the sun coming out too, the track heating up. I think that outside line is only going to get better as the track warms up.
Now a big push from the 26. 3 cars hanging tough there on the inside. Might try to pull even, but not quite going to be able to do it. The 4 car continues to lead by a hair on the exit of turn 4. He'll carry on through. He'll lead lap number 82, and maybe just Chuck Sweeting pop out of line here and go for the lead.
Yeah, we'll see what he does here. I think he's going to try to wait till they get clear of Tanner Sharp to try to do anything.
That's exactly what we saw with Chad Brown earlier. And I wonder if there's something, a setup or the racetrack that's playing with the rear suspension as they bump over something. That live axle might be bouncing around and forcing a weight shift there. It's the same kind of jerky maneuver we've seen, and the drivers are not adjusting the wheel down there. So something's going on inside those race cars that's causing them to do that. Stark trying to just get this pass done, but he can't do it. Pulls up dead even with the 4 car on the back straight. Chuck Sweeting continuing to help that outside groove right on the bumper as they enter turn number 3, and Acosta just waiting behind, analyzing where you want to be here.
Yeah, again, you kind of have to play around with it here as this track's warmed up. It's been mostly cool for most of this race, and now it's suddenly warmed up. But we're seeing that outside lane start to slowly prevail, and I think you're seeing Acosta prefer to go on the top lane, following in behind Chuck Sweeting.
I think Tanner Sharp's fighting a losing battle right now, Vinian. Especially with that outside lane having more cars in it.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a few laps, and then we're going to start to see him really start to fall back a little bit. But there, how about Richard Hines there in the 2 car?
Yeah, he's just been lurking in the back. He was involved in that first wreck of the night, locking up the brakes and just getting woed down to the inside, ended up hitting the concrete on the inside wall, but that car is repaired and actually doing quite well. So started 29th, that was 4th from last, and now he's running 6th. So this has been a good night for him.
And after trying to break inside the top 5, if he can get around Jadricic, that'll be a good run for that 2 car.
It's going to be a bad night for a lot of our top drivers, especially our top 2 from last week, Paul Ross and Sam Close. Those 3 OG cars both wrecked, 26th and 28th. And other drivers like Levi Zielinski, Rusty Webb, Frank Sims, all out here.
Way out of line. Well, I thought he was going to get back down. He was running the really high lane there.
Now there's a lot fewer cars in this pack finish. It's beginning to straighten out and look a lot more like a normal race here.
Yeah, and I think this is due to the weather. Again, still due to the weather. If we can actually get an update on what the track is looking like.
That's back up to 99, so it's been fluctuating about 20 degrees, almost 30 degrees from the beginning to the end of the session here, and we're closing in 23 minutes of race remaining. It's 88 of 133 laps complete. Still time left, but not a ton.
Yeah, this is looking more like the actual Vegas race.
Yeah, now it seems like it's pretty difficult to get passes done. You're just kind of stuck in line here. So I think the conditions are beginning to replicate that of the race here from a couple months ago. And I think we're seeing a lot of frustrations that the drivers had here when they raced this package. Is once you get spread out like this, the first 10, 15 laps after a restart are so close. And then once you get strung out, the aero push and the tire fall off makes it really difficult to do anything once you're just all flooring around the racetrack. A lack of time. I mean, they were still running within a half second of their best times. Tommaso he's run a great race tonight. He started in the 22nd spot. So a lot of these drivers have come back and stayed out of trouble. Ooh, Tanner Sharp way out of line. He's dropped back, Finian. Last couple laps back to 5th spot. He's trying to claw his way back forward on the outside of Jadricic. Yeah, to be able to do it, but he's still got some work to do to get it back to his top 3.
Yeah, I think running on the inside line didn't really, that whole time, didn't really do him any favors. That kind of hurt him more than anything else. But you see the sun dip back behind the clouds here. We're going to see the track cool down just a little bit. Might see these guys start to peek out a little bit more.
Kind of confusing day for the weather people. And how about Back here, this is for what I think will be 6th place. This is Chad Frankenfield, Kevin Finn, Richard Hines, and Chad Brown, all fighting pretty fervently back here. Evans, also, let's talk about him for a second. Started 30th, Finian. He's been involved in a couple incidents, but toughed it out. Running 10th now. Be a good night for him. And that 16-3 almost gets into the fence out of turn 4. You can see, I think, drivers fighting understeer conditions at this point.
Yeah, I think they're gonna like it a little bit more as the track starts to cool back down again. I'm gonna be favoring them a little bit more. Here we see Sharp trying to keep ahead of Javricic.
Yeah, he was actually side by side with Acosta a moment ago and wasn't able to get there. Chuck Sweeting now putting pressure on Samasa for that lead.
Yeah, you see you guys migrate back down to the white line here. Oh,
Crossover by the 24.
Yeah, here comes Acosta with a run. Going to try to get a draft off with a 4 ahead of him.
And Acosta's going to have to sail it down in here to clear, but he does, but he's going to almost get into the back of the 4 car. The exit of 2, but Acosta in a second with a power move around the inside of Sweeting.
Yeah, great passes there. Now let's see if he tries to settle the pass for Salmaso, or will he ride in second here?
Running high, I think he's setting something up for the front straight here, but he doesn't pull it down as low as I would have thought. But now he's got Sweeting covered on corner exit. He can use that draft to get closer to the 4 before he makes his move.
And there you see
David Wilson, sorry, but
yeah, there you see Acosta look at the outside as Salmaso's defending on the inside here. So I'm also taking several defensive lanes, which is going to be the one though.
Left that inside open. Does Acosta dive for it? No, he's going to look to the outside lane. Not a whole lot of room up there. And the 26 is going to make the hard left back to the bottom. Try to get back to the inside of Acosta. Can't do it. They're going to chase each other up to the wall at the exit of turn 4 as we come to lap number 95.
There you see Acosta got to run. He's going to look to the outside of Salmaso. He's barely going to have a fender there.
Oh, Acosta drove in hard to the outside lane. Not going to be able to maintain that. He's going to have to pull it down on corner exit. Carry the momentum, but he can't. Maybe Sweeting will give him a shove here.
I think he ran way too far out of the groove there. You don't want to be running right up against the wall. You want to be running about a lane down. You see him almost get it back to Salmaso.
Gonna turn down underneath him on corner exit here. He's going to be there. He gives him a tap to the quarter panel. No movement from the 4, so if it was a tap, it was light. But now the 26 takes a hard left to the apron, and he's going to pull on alongside Acosta. Acosta too hard again in turn 1 to lose some ground here, but it looks like it's not working out. I mean, very bad for him. It's too high to me, but it's working out.
I think might be trying to put some rubber down there to get that groove to work.
Well, I went up there, so it's going to be a while before it works. But hey, he's made it work. He's now past Chuck Sweeting, and Tanner Sharp's going to go the long way around the 26 car. He'll take 3rd place away for now. I mean, these 3 have just been duking it out. This has been one heck of a race.
Behind them there you see Sweeting and Javricic sorting themselves out.
Probably be able to hang on to this. Yeah, so look how close these guys are, Finian. No room for error. The 3 and the 24 bump drafting on the straightaway. You see them closing the gap on the 4. Where do you go? What decision do you make? What line do you choose down here in turn 1 and 2? And the bottom for the 24, he sails it in, but it's not going to be enough to clear here, Finian. I think the 4s and the 3 are probably going to be able to drive around him on corner exit.
Yeah, we'll see how his speed off the corner is going to look. You see Salmaso be able to charge him through without any problems. You see Sharp trying to get through. Can't get it done there. That's still to the inside.
Just got these dogging each other here, Finian. Closing in on 30 to go. Lap number 99 of 133, and now it's the 4 and the 3 in line, and I'm sure Tanner Sharp's going, hey, my number's higher than, or lower than yours. I should be the one up in front of you, but getting an iRating tonight, Finian, it's all driver skill as they work their way down the back straight.
And definitely these top 3, in fact, the top 4 really show that they got the skill out of most people tonight. They've been up there to the front for most of the race. So
oh, the 3 car's loose!
Whoa.
Slipping, sliding out of turn 4, through the grass, dirt tracking it.
Just as we're saying how well they were doing, Tanner Sharp's going to spin out of 4, or get sideways out of 4. He's going to save it.
And that essentially takes him out of this race, at least for the lead.
He's going to need a caution to get back up there. But he's going to be back in 5th. There's actually a really big gap actually back, and you see Chad Brown just coming around in 6th place.
Brown's going to drive right around the outside to see how much momentum. Look at that. They've gained half a straightaway, actually a full straightaway, but they're going for the lead here. Oh, turn! Salmaso spins at the exit of turn 4. Acosta's loose now as well.
And they save it. Wow.
Somehow they don't crash, Finian, but Chuck Sweeting slips on through with Giannis to take the lead away.
And I think Sweeting's going to have a huge smile on his face there. That pretty much just, his competition just eliminated themselves.
What a crazy lap that was.
Yeah, Acosta just timed that gun into the back bumper of Salmaso.
Holy cow.
And both did a great job saving their cars.
That could have been a lot worse. Salmaso slipped all the way back to Tanner Sharp.
Yeah, they found each other yet again. And
these guys are probably so sick
and
of
now,
seeing each other.
Yeah, and now there's only 2 cars left for racing for the lead. One of them is severely damaged.
You know what reminds me of this is the Talladega Clash video. You remember that one finish?
Yeah.
Who's in 10th? Kyle Henshaw's in a great spot to win this race.
I was going to say, well, he is if everyone else had Rex. I'm pretty sure that's his only hope at this point.
Oh, my goodness. Okay, coming up to 30 laps to go and 2 laps here.
And just look, there's Acosta in third just coming out of the corner, leading the next pack on backwards.
Oh, the 3 car slipping and sliding. He's just all over the place in the back straight with Salmaso behind him.
Yeah, these guys are actually starting to reel Acosta back in, so big gap to the rest of these guys. I'm actually curious also how good these guys are on fuel. They have to make another stop.
Well, 29 laps. Ooh, I think you're definitely going to have to, Finian. I don't know if you can go 60 plus. But for the top spot, Sweeting and Giannis, they're so separated now, Finian. And what's their plan? I mean, you guys work together to try to keep that gap. That's what I would be doing.
Yeah, I think we might see them do that. Just right in line here, let these guys out behind, fight it out, and lose time.
And they're going to fight it out. Trust me, these guys are not done. I don't care if they're racing for 23rd or for 3rd. They're going to race each other just as hard. And that's Tanner Sharp peeling off. He's going to come and make his final stop of the night. He gets the pit road, no drama there, which would be a good thing. We saw in weeks past how dramatic pit road was, at least at Daytona.
Yeah, and I mean, you're not really too much of a benefit from coming in earlier. Only about a second. They're only running about a second slower than their fastest lap, so not too much of a benefit here from coming in early. But we'll see guys coming nonetheless here. Who's going to follow in reaction to Janet Sharp?
This fight, this is for 8th place. Hanshaw, Frankenfield, and Lafferty.
And Kevin Finn's coming in.
14.
And Salmaso
pulls off the racetrack, and the 4 car does as well. Oh, spin!
Oh, Hickey, I think.
That's Nick Miller of the 9. Spin
oh, yeah.
through, and that's going to be a penalty, I believe.
Yeah, tough break for him.
Just gets it righted again. The leaders continue. Chuck Sweeting, Kevin Jadrosic, and here they come. I think Jadrosic is going to follow him down, try to close the gap as much as he can.
That was a hot exit off the track for Chuck Sweeting.
Dan Brown will stay on the racetrack, and here comes background. I saw another driver pulling off. That was Acosta. He makes it in. Hanshaw and Lafferty follow through, and only one of the key boy. That battered car is running 10th now. So Chad Brown, the lone leader now, and this is going to be our final stop of the night. About 14 minutes of racing remaining if we stay green to the end.
Yeah, I'm curious how long these guys are going to actually stay out here and run their laps. Or will they come in pretty soon here?
You'd have to think you'd want to come in relatively soon, but I think Chad Brown might have another idea because he's staying out again.
I think some of these guys probably looking just at the win here. I think they might just try to stay out here and let a caution come out.
Cars leaving the pits now. Chuck Sweeting is one of them. And Jadrosic looks like he lost some ground on that pit stop sequence.
Yeah, that's probably Sweeting came in there very hot into pit road.
And Acosta leaving as well. Where is Tanner Sharp? Down in turn number 1, so looks like this is going to work out, and looks like Jadrosic and Sweeting are going to be able to keep their enormous lead over the rest of the field once this all cycles through. And Gruenberg is in 5th in this race, and that car is looking a lot worse for wear, and he's still running. So again, when you think about the point standings race, this is a season-long effort, the 54, taking a bad night and making it a lot less bad than it could have been.
I mean, he is going to have to come in for another pit stop, but again, still good. I mean, lowest he can finish is 18th. He's only got 18 cars running on the track right now.
Top 5 cars have yet to make their final stop, so the battle for what will eventually be the lead is this one, Chuck Sweeting and Jadrosic, but the difference between them is 3.1 seconds, so Sweeting is now sitting in the catbird seat.
Yeah, Sweeting's just kind of praying that a caution doesn't come out here as we're coming close to 20 laps to go.
Costa and Sharp fighting for 9th on the racetrack and will eventually be for 4th. Salmaso is about 3.7 seconds clear. Per second between these two. They have yet to pit, but might as well fight it out before they get there, huh? Maybe they're just hoping for a yellow at this point, but yeah, I don't really know why you'd want to do that, because there hasn't been a yellow in quite some time.
I think these are guys probably more towards the back, just kind of hoping on a Hail Mary. At this point, from the looks of it, I don't think we're going to be due for one, especially now that a lot of people are spread out after pit stops.
Top 5 have been out of the racetrack for 33 or more laps. Everyone else behind is good to go to the end on fuel. And right now it's a Chevy and a bunch of Fords up there in the top 5. That's an unusual thing that we've seen on SimTV the last couple weeks.
Yeah, a lot of Toyotas actually wrecked out, and I mean, overall, there's a lot of cars in general wrecked out of this, and there you see the 14 N2 car come to make their final stop.
So Chad Brown, the only one still left committed to that strategy. I think the only other driver left on the racetrack is Matt Gruenberg, and they're the only two that haven't yet make their last stop of the night. Well, it's not going to be a dominant race-winning victory for the 54, but it's certainly a lot less bad than it looked like it was going to be after he got involved in an earlier wreck. How about Tanner Sharp and Acosta going at it? We got Corey Lindsay. This is for position here. Corey Lindsay has caught them after all the mistakes that they've made, and this is a fight for position. It looks like Lindsay might actually have the upper hand here.
Okay, he's going to get a run onto the inside of Acosta here. There comes Tanner Sharpen down. Remember the 3 in the 00 teammates.
At 112 of 133. Getting down to it here, Finney, and I'm loving where that 26 car is in terms of the strategy at this point. He and 24 now fighting, and Lindsay slips off the back of this fight. Drivers. Closest battle on the racetrack at the moment. The exception of this one. This is for 12th spot. Hanshaw and Lafferty.
Okay, so Lafferty have a little bit of an incident, got loose off of 2 one time, and then hit the inside wall just a little bit. And they see Chad Brown for his pit stop. Frankenfield, Frankenfield and Grunberg, the only cars still remaining out there, have not picked.
Oh, I didn't even know Frankenfield hadn't come on through yet. Those 2 cars, the only ones left to make a pit stop, and that will turn over the lead to Sweeting and Giagricic. So Chad Brown leaves the pits and actually had a pretty good stop. Sweeting's going to drive on through, and there is something wrong with that paint scheme, but looks like ain't my problem. As they come on to turn number 2, leading the race now by 2.6. So looks like Giagricic actually has reeled him in quite a bit. The last lap was by half a second that he reeled in Chuck Sweeting. So maybe this isn't over yet with 20 to go. Maybe it is. Grunberg down to the pit lane.
Grunberg down into the pits. I mean, I would think it is. I feel like it's going to be very hard to make up that time.
Ooh, Costa, Tanner Sharp, Chad Brown, Corey Lindsay all fighting for 6th place. Now make it for 5th. They pass at Grunberg in the pits. Luis Almaso, he's sitting in 4th at the moment.
And here comes this big battle here. All the drivers in that shot racing for position.
Acosta, Sharp, and Luis Almaso are going to have to...
Whoa, Chad Brown with a big wiggle behind him. He's got something wrong with...
Since the beginning of the race, he's been struggling with that car, and I'm not sure what has been going on, but really, there is something severely wrong with that machine on the straightaways, at least. Steering is knocked out or something, because it's definitely not handling correctly.
Yeah, here's Frankenfield coming out, so that'll give the lead back to Chuck Sweeting here.
19 laps to go. We're coming to 18 at the line. The fight right now is for 4th, Sharp, Acosta, and Lindsay. But I was going to say that the 4, the 3, and the 24 are going to need to take a week away from each other and probably not talk to each other, because I think they've had enough of each other's sights tonight.
You see Costa let them back off there. Here comes Costa and Lindsay now racing it out.
Poor Lindsay has had quite the night, missing wrecks and dodging bullets and getting damaged.
I mean, even that car too. I think the car's pretty much as it rolled off the truck. I don't really see any damage to it.
So Corey Lindsay's?
Yeah, maybe a little bit of right front.
I think he's fixed some. I think he got... Well, he might have net coated through, but he was involved in a couple accidents, but minorly. But he's been able to dodge most of the bad ones, which is resulted in him having just some slight dents that he's gotten mostly fixed. So you're right. I mean, Corey Lindsay's in a better spot than a lot of these cars are, as he fights for 5th with Acosta. Now Tanner Sharp jumps down to block that as they enter down into turn 3. That was a move that I'm sure Acosta's not going to appreciate. 17 to go, coming to 16 now is Chuck Sweeting. He's around through. So 8 minutes left of this race. Whoa, tight out of turn 4 for Lindsay and loose for Acosta.
possible team. Acosta's kind of outnumbered in that fight there. And speaking of numbers, here comes a big battle here, led by Kevin Finn.
Chad Brown up the road here. He is also for positions. This will be a fight for 7th.
Yeah, big wiggle at his car in the middle of the corner.
And now everyone's going to get really hungry here, smelling the blood in the water, and the 14's going to dive for it. Chad Brown's got something wrong. He's falling back. He just came in for tires. There's really something wrong with that 64 car.
Let's keep it right on board on the inside of the car. I'm just kind of curious what's going on there. No, he has a lot of play in the wheel.
Yeah, there's something not right. It's really loose. I'll see when you get down to the end of the straightaway here what happens. You see him wiggling? The car is yawing back and forth.
Yeah, it's almost like it's like not sitting on the axle or something.
Yeah, there's something not right.
Really weird.
Never seen that before. Usually there's a reason for it.
And the car has got a few dents and scrapes, but nothing that seems severe enough to cause that. So.
Okay, so let's update you on the top couple of drivers here. Finian Sweeting has a 3.3 second lead over RaceKings, and it's Salmaso, Sharp, Acosta your top 5, then Corey Lindsay, Kevin Finn, Richard Hines, Kyle Hanshaw, Lafferty, the rest of your top 10. Brown's fallen to 11th with that ill-handling race car. Then it's Frankenfield, McKeeboy, Stevens, Gruenberg, Miller, Hickey, and Wilson, the only drivers left racing this race from 19th race car on back. Everyone's destroyed, and that's almost half our field, Finian. Hanshaw's also had a good night. Number 46.
Honestly, pretty much everyone that survives is going to have a pretty decent night, finishing almost in the top half of the field just by continuing it out here.
Stud and a sharp man.
Yes, they've slowly broken away from Corey Lindsay, so it's kind of come out to between them for battle for 4th.
Not the only thing to be broken if they keep racing like this. 12 to go. Luis Amaso, who has distanced himself from Sharp and Acosta. If you're Corey Lindsay, you're just hoping and praying these two get together and make a mess out of it like they did a couple dozen laps ago. There's so much aggression out of the 24 tonight. It's worked. I mean, he's been up here all night, hasn't really dropped anywhere close to being outside the top 10. I mean, he's looked like Ricky Stenhouse out there in terms of the moves he's been making, but he's definitely not been wrecking like him, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, I think you almost kind of have to do it. It's pretty hard to pass, so whether the sun's out or not, just the way this package is, you really got to be aggressive with your movements here to try to gain positions, because they're very hard to come by.
Oh, you might as well just glue a picture of the 24's nose on the mirror of Salmas or of Tanner Sharp at this point. Contact there. Gotta be careful with these bumpers. They're not gonna mesh very well, and you see them slip as they get down to turn 1.
Yeah, I wonder how fighting between them is gonna escalate here as the lap's wind down. It's probably gonna go a little bit up.
Guys still fighting for Colby 7th. That's Kevin Finn leading the train, and it's Hines, Hanshaw, Lafferty, Brown. But 10 to go. We're coming to 9 now as Chuck Sweeting leads this race by 2.9. The gap has fallen a bit, but I just don't think Jadrosic has the pace to catch up to him, in your opinion. So it's really Chuck Sweeting's race to lose.
Yeah, at this point, he's going to have to be taking out 0.3 of a second every single lap, which I don't think he'd be able to do.
The group has been remarkably kind to each other.
Yeah, but I got a question: is how much longer are they going to do? So I'm not sure they're just waiting.
I'm more worried about the 3 and the 24 than I am about these guys.
Yeah, I'm curious if they're just kind of riding out here, just riding out the laps and just waiting for a moment.
Oh, crash! The 3 car, and I told you, Finian, slides across the racetrack. Caution out! No, they split him in the middle of 3 wide. No caution. But 8 to go, and Sharp's going to roll away unharmed from that, but I'm going to guarantee you, Finian, that there was something involved with the 24.
Yeah, I would say it's a good bet here. Here goes the 24.
I told you.
Well, hang on, wait. Yep,
oh, yeah, Finian, we knew what was going on there. And I'm sure the 3 is going to have a disagreement about that one. But look at this. Wow. That was scary there for a moment. You were all worried about the pack run for 7th. These are the guys that were racing here, Vinny. And the slip and a slide, and the grass tufts flying in the air. And this is a helpless feeling. And I cannot believe the caution didn't come out for that. That was a very dangerous situation. Sharp will continue. Up front, though, it's Sweeting by 2.6 seconds. Giadricic second. It is Samaso, Acosta, Lindsay now your top 5. And now everyone's kind of spread out, even this group back here, after they probably have to change their tires and then their underpants after this race before they load the car back on the truck.
I was going to say that incident also really spread out everyone else, so they kind of got disjointed.
Yeah, actually, Kyle Hanshaw was able to take advantage of it and gained a few spots. He's up to 6th.
Yeah, he's going to have to try to hold off Richard Hines here for a few more laps, and he'll be able to hold on to that 6th place position.
This is the closest battle on the racetrack. Nothing up inside the top 5 to worry about yet. 5 laps to go for Chuck Sweeting in race number 2. Now, Kyle Hanshaw, again, you mentioned that last season we only saw him race, he did race in the Cup Series last year, but we only saw him race in the Truck Series. And last year, just not a ton of success on the asphalt racetracks. He had a lot of success on the dirt, you mentioned.
Yeah, and even Richard Hines, you can kind of almost throw him in the same boat. He was another driver that also really shone on the dirt tracks, not so much pavement.
But both of them, a good run tonight, and granted they've had some help, but they were running well before all of those incidents even happened. Now I'm getting nervous about these guys.
Yeah, and now they've come back out to each other, and now the Gretchen stepped there. You see Kim Finn jumping to the inside of Hanshaw, and there you see also the 8 of Richard Lafferty just kind of lurking behind.
Side by side on the back straightaway, now the 46 and the 14. Fighting for 7th on the racetrack as Hines moves up to 6th. 3 laps to go, coming to 2 for Chuck Sweeting. 3 miles left for the 26th, but the battle is for 7th.
Here comes Lafferty now following the outside with Hanshaw. Looked like he was going to make it 3 wide.
You're one of these guys here, Vinny, and you just accept the 7th or 8th or 9th and just take it home. I mean, there's a lot of cars that were running well in the points that are going to have a rough night tonight. Is it worth going for 1 extra spot at the risk of your night?
I think it's worth going for 1 extra spot with some caution. I don't think you're going to be wanting to throw in the car. See, Lafferty always made contact with Finn. I think you want to be a little bit careful and cautious with your movement, but definitely worth trying to go for a spot here.
Guys are racing it out. 2 laps to go for them, but the leader, Chuck Sweeting, is rolling through turns 3 and 4. He's just put Tanner Sharp a lap down. And some things don't change, Finian, and Chuck Sweeting, when he shows up to a racetrack in any league that we do, he's always competitive in some shape or form. And tonight at Las Vegas, he hasn't been the dominant car, but he was there when it mattered, and the drivers around him kept making mistakes and running into each other. And Chuck Sweeting, as he rockets down the back straightaway, the Vanilla straightaway, the last time, it's going to be his first win of 2019 in SimTV broadcasted league action through turns 3 and 4. It's week 2 for Chuck Sweeting, but it's going to be week 1 of his winnings. Chuck Sweeting wins at Las Vegas.
A solid job there. Giadricic, too, going to come home across the line in 2nd. Great finish for him.
Oh, Kyle Hanshaw, there's been trouble, Finney, and he's wrecked. And Cost comes home 4th, Lindsay 5th, but the 46 car is going to limp it home. And let's go back and find out what happened here, and I'm going to guarantee you collision in turn 4. Here's a look.
Actually, he was loose beforehand.
Oh, yeah, he just lost it here, and Lafferty couldn't do anything about this. Chad Brown gets collected, and they slip and slide across the line. Oops, Chad Brown gets into the fence. Whoop, there's one way to cross the line. But Chuck Sweeting, Finian, how about this? Well-executed race. Kept himself out of trouble. Not a whole lot of damage on that race car.
Yeah, and I think that was definitely the key, is keeping himself out of trouble in a lot of those early incidents. He was able to climb his way up. And here he is going to be doing burnouts here at Las Vegas.
Celebrating here for his first victory of 2019. I don't understand what's wrong with that paint, because the nose is lined up. Okay. Well, the hood is, I think.
Yeah, back bumper not so much.
It's like he forgot to rotate it back around when he was working. Chuck Sweeting wins here at Las Vegas. Here's a look at your results, though, Finian. Giadricic 2nd place. That's a great recovery. He started 2nd, finished 2nd. Selmaso 3rd. Acosta 4th. Corey Lindsay 5th. Hines 6th. Finn, Lafferty, Frankenfield, Hanshaw. And it looks like Tanner Sharp's going to come home in 12th. And I'm really curious to see what his opinions are at that incident with Carlos Acosta. We'll talk to both of them here in just a couple minutes. And we'll also talk to Sweeting and others. Stay with us. We'll be right back with interviews. welcome back live here to SimTV, here with third place finisher Luis Salmaso. That was a great race for you, and quite a battle you had there with Tanner Sharp and Carlos Acosta. I'm sure you probably could have just taped a picture of their noses in your mirror for a while, or at least on your left side window, because the view didn't change very much. But talk to us about tonight. Kind of a wild one out there.
Oh, I'm bringing a little bit of both cars with me. They're tattooed on my back bumper for sure. I'm pretty sure a little bit everywhere around the car. We were so close during God knows how many laps. It was really fun. It was really fun racing with those guys. Everybody pushing beyond the limit, I think, for most of the race. And I think it's a miracle that we did not take each other out. Me, Carlos, Tanner, Chuck, Kevin, everybody that was up front. So, but it was a blast. It was a blast. This pack new way of racing, this new package that iRacing has that is trying to mirror what they have in the Cup cars now. It's weird. It bunches everybody up. You can go flat-footed and the whole thing, but it is what it is. So you need to learn how to race with it and learn how to get the best of it, and just understand that you're going to have to figure it out to pass people and to race cleanly. So, but it was fun.
Yeah, how did the weather affect the racing, if at all? We saw the temperatures fluctuate about 15 to 20 degrees. Could you feel it in the race car, or was it pretty negligible tonight?
We felt it the way whenever the sun came up. So, and that was one of the things that caught me off guard. We were going flat foot the whole time, not a problem. And then the sun came up. All of a sudden, my car was getting loose in 3 and 4. So on the entrance and the change between turns 3 and turns 4, the back end of the car was just snapping out. So that happened twice, and the third time that was starting to happen, that's when Carlos hit me from behind, and he even said that his tires were all of a sudden they were not there, so he couldn't stop, he couldn't turn. So I know that I lifted a little bit too much, or more than he was expecting, and his car was just suffering the same thing. So and it was starting to happen. Every time the sun would hit the track, you would lose a little bit. It would get a little bit too tight in the front, a little bit too loose in the back. But when it was overcast, it was fine. You could just flat foot and go full foot the whole time.
All right, well, Luis, I'm also P3 tonight. Great work there. We'll see you next week.
Thanks, guys. Just to give a big shout out to everybody at 3OG. Not a lot of luck for a lot of the squad, but everybody is still pretty good in the points. Thanks GoDaddy for being in the car. Thanks Jupiter Batteries, who's going to be in the car for most of the season as well. Everybody from WCR, Sul Brasil, HPM, and you guys for putting up one hell of a broadcast. Cannot wait to go back and watch it again.
All right, thanks a lot. We'll see you later. Have a good night.
Thanks, bud. Good night.
All right, let's talk to Carlos Acosta, the driver number 24. Finished 4th tonight. Carlos, a wild race tonight. I'm sure you and the 3 and the 4 were tucked up against each other for probably 100 of the 133 laps. Walk us through the night, but also that incident with the 3 out of turn number 4.
Yeah, well, first of all, that was 100% on me. I was bump drafting Tanner that pretty much the whole race, and trying to catch up to the 4, and I guess I got a little too zealous, and I turned him around. That's all on me. He's not happy, and I understand that he's not. But overall, my night was fantastic. This is my first top 5 in over 3 years. I led laps. I battled Tanner for the halfway points. The classic 324 battle. That was fun. I just really feel bad for turning Tanner, but finishing 4th, I'm very, very happy with that.
It seemed like the aggression level tonight was really raised up, and we saw you making some incredible moves top to bottom and bottom to top. Does the downforce package in your mind help you out in terms of being able to make more moves as a driver, or do you think it's a deficit because of the less throttle control?
Little more of the first, but both. I was able to make moves I didn't think I could do before. I told my boss Johnny, because I'm racing for his team, Johnny Thomas Racing, that I'm not going to be good. You're going to get consistent racing with me, consistent finishes, and I peaked today, led some laps, finished 5th. I told them don't expect any more from me, because that's all you're going to get.
All right, Carlos. Well, a 4th place finish, for the number 24, but a good race regardless. We'll see you next week.
Thank you so much. You have a great night.
You too. All right, now let's talk to winner Tanner Sharp. We're going to talk to real quick. Driver the number 3, Tanner. I know you're a little upset with what happened on the racetrack there. What happened in your point of view? And otherwise, other than that, how was the race for you tonight?
Well, start off with the race. It was find is very interesting. Just trying to learn the draft package here, the mile and a half with this new Cup Series package. It's exciting for a race fan, but it's intense in the cockpit of a driver because you got to figure out, because Las Vegas, it can be really bumpy on the bottom. And you just got to really figure out, when the bottom works and when it doesn't work, when you should move up high. Like I said earlier, it was a mile and a half chess game. As far as with Carlos is concerned, just went to turn 3, and we were going to draft together to try to catch Luis for third, and we were catching him little by little. I don't think we would have caught him before the checker flag flew, but I was starting to get loose on entrance of the corner, and I was just kind of breathing the throttle to keep the car stabilized. And he must have gotten the gas sooner than I did, and just bumped us in the back bumper and just took us for a wild ride through the front stretch. I'm surprised iRacing itself didn't throw the caution flag for it, because we were like 30 miles an hour when we came back on track and almost got T-boned. So we got very lucky there. But although we know we are fast, I've been saying it ever since before the season started, watch out for Team Blurry, man. We're going to be fast. We're going to be getting them finishes. And boy, we sure have. I think Corey got a top 5 finish. So just got to thank Team Blurry and everybody, Mountain Dew, National Guard, Shriners Hospital Children, the Impossible Racing League for their sponsorship, racing for guys who are disabled on the iRacing system. To go out there and just prove that anything is possible, that you are able to do this. So glad to have those guys on board.
All right, well, Tanner Sharp finished 12th. Probably not where he deserved to finish, but still a decent result regardless after a wild night. Thanks for talking to us, Tanner. We'll see you next week.
Thank you.
Last but certainly not least is going to be Chuck Sweeting, the winner on tonight. Chuck, early in the season, it's a great time to win a race, and you did just that tonight. And weren't a dominant car, but came through right when it mattered most and took the checker flag. Walk us through your night.
Yeah, it was interesting. This new build is it's going to take a little while for everybody to figure out. But first off, I want to apologize to Corey in the league and Luis, who painted my car, but I didn't have the right file uploaded today, obviously, so it looked all crazy, I'm sure, on the broadcast. So I want to apologize for that. But the race was a lot of fun. It was a learning curve trying to figure out how to save your front tires, because when you're behind somebody, you really abuse them. And then knowing when to go. And I don't know, it looked like I picked the right time to go low a couple of times and ended up in the lead there.
Early in the season with this new package, have you had a chance to assess how you feel like you're going to do with it this year? And do you feel like you're at an advantage with this new package versus the older one? And which one do you prefer?
I definitely prefer the older one. A lot more throttle input. So it takes a little bit more effort from the driver. But I don't know. This is fun. It was probably fun for people to watch. Hopefully it was. And, maybe that's a good thing. But I prefer the old package. I like to be able to control the throttle. And we never, especially with the cloud cover tonight, we never really got loose. It popped out once or twice and it got loose. But otherwise, it was just pretty much flat out the whole race.
All right, Chuck. Well, hey, it was a fantastic performance tonight. Kept the fenders on it for one and ended up with a victory. Congratulations on your first victory 2019. Hopefully there's many more coming for you, and we'll see you next week.
All right, thanks a lot, Kyle.
And that was Chuck Sweeting, our race winner tonight. That's going to do it for us here on this Monday evening. We're going to be back tomorrow night with Fuel Finals race number 1 from Rockingham Speedway, and it's time to bring on the playoffs for those drivers. And then on Wednesday and Thursday, we're off this week. We return on Friday at Richmond for VRL, and Saturday, Indianapolis road course racing before heading to another road course on Sunday for the Yinzer Truck Series. And it's going to be a great one to watch. So thanks for watching. We'll see you tomorrow night, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Have a great night.